världar i fara. Ödets vävnad har utlöst sig till något oförutsägbart. Denna aurora sträcker sig längs himmelen och frigör oss från dagens ljus. Lämnar oss vilse i nattens mörka djup. Det sägs att det är en mäktig sträng
Cackle when you went too far and used the mask.
I sin skönhet är det en mörk varning. För det sägs att den endast syns innan mörkrets dagar. Världens undergång. Glömskan. Ragnarök.
We'll finish what we started. Or start what we finished.
Can you hear me?
It's getting real bad. There's all these people in the islands. If we don't go now, they could die. We gotta do something. You talk to the council. I'll go warn them.
We'll meet up again, right?
Of course. I would never leave you behind.
It's just that we left our friends and
We didn't leave our friends, luckily. We
It has to be this way.
we needed to part ways for just a little bit. But I promise.
are you okay being alone?
I'm gonna have to be.
It'll help you okay. We'll all be together again.
If anybody can do it, you can.
Now go.
It all comes back around.
Hello, Dex. When were you born? I know you, little one. Your eyes are blue. Your eyes are blue. What do you see? I hear you. Your eyes are green. Whatever you are holding. Does it hurt? You were not this way yesterday. You are not this way now. You are a creation. You are currently creating. You were not born. Does it hurt? You were not born. You were molded. You are molding. You are molting. I know you. But do you know me? I hear you. Your eyes are green. Your eyes are blue.
Step 1. Conjuration. Gather your power. Step 2. Divination. Locate your source. Step 3. Convocation. Fold space and bring the source.
I gave you what you asked of me. You gave me nothing in return! Then I embrace it! I waited. Do not mistake this for punishment. This is an equal trade. Now look around you. What you have made. Should you call on me
Life doesn't always give us what we deserve, it gives us what we need.
As our existence wanes and dies, legends remain.
We are the kings, the sentinels of the future.
Many have claimed they have lived their lives in beauty. What does it mean to be good or be evil?
And at the crossroads, be who they want you to be, or be who you're born to be.
Legendary rangers, steel, cells.
Everything comes at a cost.
Don't forget the river.
The main event starts at 3 PM Eastern, 12 PM Pacific Time.
Hello there, welcome to Tablestory. I wanted to take a moment to let you know some other ways that you can support the channel, see some extra merchandise, and find some additional content that you might not be aware of. Merch.tablestory.tv is our official merchandise store and membership feed. Here you can see some of the merchandise for the channel and shows, like these hoodies, these hats, this very elegant pillow, and more. There's also some additional content available, things like session zeros and pre-show ready workshop episodes of our shows. We also have a series we call the Green Room, which are short post-show chats with the casts of our shows, recorded immediately after the episode airs live on Twitch. The Green Room content is available retroactively for any members at any level. However, there are additional elements and discounts for Storians that support at higher levels. You can also listen to all of your favorite Table Story shows in audio podcast format on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. Please make sure to rate and subscribe to those too. It's incredibly helpful. Thank you. Lastly, if you miss any of the episodes live or you want to go back and watch previous series, all of our shows are available in playlists on YouTube, and every episode airs at noon Eastern the day after it airs live on Twitch. And thank you so much for watching and supporting Table Story. We hope you enjoy the merch and the content as much as we enjoy making it.
Emptiness, confusion, you wouldn't be alone in pain.
Last thing I remember.
The memory is hard, clear. Flash of dimly lit lashes around three figures.
Dash my head against the desk.
I remember my thrash, looking up at it, outstretched hand, reaching out, blood,
The painting is Judith beheading her offerings.
bloody. Some of it splatters on the wall.
I think I knew who they were.
A shadow or a silhouette,
But of course I have some proof.
sort of raised from huddled.
There are two women holding someone down as they cut a man's head off.
Not getting dragged back.
Feel disappointed. I feel inadequacy.
And then
I saw
darkness.
I feel angry.
The memory isn't all clear. Goes together. Just a vortex.
Tidal Blades is an improvised cinematic narrative with live production, including music and dialogue. There's no script. We want to thank Druid City Games for sponsoring this story and for creating the world of Tidal Blades, without which neither this story nor my friends and I would exist. And now, somewhere in Naviri.
Found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever, never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the
Every Navirian remembers the storm, a monstrous cloud rolling across the sky, blacker than Cuddlebeard's ink. It stained the pristine blue like a bruise. The wind lashed out first, its rage a cry of warning. Then the rain began to fall. Drifters moored their homes in haste, the bay churning as the first waves crested high enough to threaten the island city. It was, by all accounts, a most magnificent storm. And as beings scrambled for safety, a few heroes remained, standing strong against the thundering sky. They were the Tidal Blades, elite guardians of Naviri, tasked with defending the floating islands. For over 200 years, they had patrolled the reef barrier day and night, keeping the city safe from the terrors of the deep. But this storm brought nightmares that clawed their way through the waves, beasts that even the Tidal Blades could not hold back. When the Higher Council convened, it was to decide on a last desperate measure. There was a way to save the city, but it carried a terrible price. As the Arcanists gave the Tidal Blades the precious Hyperloom, their hearts grew heavy. And when the Fold deployed in a searing flash of magic and light, they knew Naviri would stand, but the Tidal Blades would not. 15 years have passed. The air over Naviri is warm again, the sky painted with immaculate clouds. Naviri has never been more vibrant, more beautiful. The protective barrier known as the Fold still stands. From the scattered reefs to the wayward sea, it blocks the horizon like a huge, glitching glacier, a brittle defense against the horrors that lie beyond it. But stories travel on the winds now. Creatures from the deep have begun to slip through, strange and mutated, carrying abilities unseen before. Whispers tell of folk found wandering outside the Fold, blank-eyed and stripped of memory, yet their skin is adorned in scars, muscles taut and ready, their bodies clearly strong enough to carry the memory their minds have lost. Could they be former Tidal Blades? Some say that others yet remain, trapped, waiting. They need only a new generation of dreamers, daring to be heroes.
So, where are you taking us to?
A while ago, one of my students, or rather, I taught him, but he wouldn't consider himself a student to me, mentioned an engineer who lived out here, or a bit further into the jungles anyway, who worked a bit on the Hyperloom, what put up the Fold, and ended up, I don't know, leaving the council, the engineers. They seem to have similar morals to me, so we're gonna go speak to them, see what they know.
What's their name?
God, I wish I remembered. I'm getting up there in my years.
I don't remember things either.
Neither do I.
You don't need to make me feel better. I'm probably 10 times your age, or at least close to it.
Okay.
Well, Thank you, Amara.
No,
Hopefully,
of course.
they'll be able to help.
At the very least, we'll get something. It's always better than what we have right now, which is very little.
So we are located, so sorry to interrupt you, I'm so sorry. But just as a refresher for everyone, we are located up kind of near Numingo, which is up by the Viridian Ridge, which is up on the northern end of this map here. Just so everybody's aware. And we've been traveling for maybe like just half the day, right? Is kind of what we had decided. So it's about evening time and they're resting on the shoreline while they head to where Amara has suggested they go.
Liren kind of has her eyes closed here and there, which might be a problem for anyone else walking with their eyes closed, you might think. But there's almost a lyrical way to the way that she moves and the way that her feet just seem to know how to interact with the terrain that they're traversing. And I think you would be able to, for the other members of my party, pick up on this is probably the most that you've seen her smile, just kind of basking in the sun, even as they're moving at a steady pace. As they pass different bits of foliage as well, I think you see a lot of her reaching out and just touching different plants as they go and seeing the little sprouts that she has on her, almost like leaning in the direction of the rest of the foliage as she walks past it, either way.
I think I'd, in some parts, follow, and especially touch like what Liren has touched to try and examine it.
Ooh, I think we need to do a roll.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. And it is an investigative scientist role. So what you got? You have any special abilities that help you with this? I think you do. I think you have plenty, actually.
I don't know. I got far too excited about doing a roll and I accidentally closed the tab.
That's okay. No worries. We've got time. We've got time. Okay. I can also take a look at your sheet here. I'm pretty sure that you do. I think you have like a... Yes. Okay. You have a couple of things that I think would help with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say you're going to do an intellect roll with a difficulty of 4, but you have 2 assets.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to do an intellect roll.
Mm-hmm.
So no bonus.
Yep.
Difficulty of 4.
Mm-hmm. And 2 assets.
No. Our first nut one.
Okay. So, oh boy, this means I gain a GM intrusion, which so far in the previous episodes that we've done of this season, I've been using the terminology I have an offer for you, which is the way I've been using the GM intrusions. But so anybody who's looking at this going, what the heck does that mean? It just means that I get to step in at some point with an offer for the characters. And if they accept it, they gain an experience point that they then get to use to level up and things. It's very, very cool. However, I think with this failure, I think I'm going to suggest that it's because of what you just did to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at this mycronic energy, maybe that she seems to be resonating with in these plants. And it's something you've never seen before, really. And maybe there's just a split second of a moment where we, an audience, might see a little spark of recognition in your eyes before you kind of shake your head and go, wow, I've never seen this before. and just accept it as this cool new thing that you are studying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a leaf.
Oh, yeah.
Like collect them. Like I collect in my book, I collect little feathers and pieces of paper and things of intrigue to like study later. It's really important to me that I kind of create a dictionary. As opposed to a journal. It's more of a dictionary. Can I take some with me?
Scientists call them, dictionaries, not diaries or journals.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, that's very different. Yeah. And there's no
You're
science to be
compiling
found
an
in that.
index.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm compiling an index. Yeah. For people to refer to even far into the future when I'm long gone. Like, it's so very important that I compile all of this, especially when I don't know what something is. So can I take some?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you may. And I just want to know how I assume you're being about that obvious. You're not really hiding it. You're just like, she's touching leaves and you're going, whoop, and I'm going to take those and put them in.
If you asked me if I wanted to be really subtle about it, I'd tell you yes, but the prospect hasn't crossed my mind until you just asked it. So I don't think I've been really very subtle about it.
But maybe there's a moment where you're like snapping the leaves and collecting them, and then you go, oh, and then you start trying to be subtle, where you realize maybe I should be a little bit more discreet about this. Can't let the subject know they're being studied. I feel like that ship has sailed. But yes, okay. So as you're walking along, I think you're probably you've been walking along the ridge now. It is now nighttime. If you want to set down and do a little bit of a camp, you can. If you were collecting maybe firewood or something like that to be able to light something, we can go ahead and do that. And otherwise, take it away.
We should get some rest. We've been walking for a while. I'll go find some firewood. Too far and Deep Fisher, do you think you can set up the tent?
Of course.
Yes.
Do you have some instructions?
I've not.
No.
Oh, I'm not particularly. I haven't set up a lot of tents before, but I'm sure we could figure it out.
Okay, Liren, can you make sure they don't hurt themselves?
No, but I will try.
That's all I can really ask for.
I hope that,
I will go off deeper into the foliage to find some firewood or anything that can burn.
Mr. Wakiti, you're very quiet.
Because you and I both compensated for the volume change, so you put yours back and I'll do it.
No, it's too late. I'm staying right down here.
Oh no, okay.
Just because I bet that's easier. If I stay here, then you can do things as well. I am going to do we have a tent? I don't have heat.
I would have set my camping gear down. There's a tent, definitely a tent set up there.
I think as you set down the tent, I'm gonna pull a fresh notebook out of my bag and a fresh pencil out of my hair, and I'm gonna start writing step 1, tent, step 1. I'm ready.
Okay. I look to Liren. Oh.
Liren smiles and nods encouragingly at Wakati.
I'm going to I'll unfold things. Let's unfold. I will unfold the things, the tent things.
UNFOLD.
Okay. Well, I've seen tents before, and you have this canvas part, and then you have stick parts. Well, take the stick parts, and then I'll put them in the canvas parts.
Don't you have
to
so sorry.
put stick parts in canvas parts?
Liren is going to just silently bend down and start not messing with what Wakati is doing, but doing like the other side of it and going clearly slow enough to allow him to watch what she's doing.
For the record, I have on my skills that I am not outdoorsy.
That's what I was going to say. Don't you have that?
I do. I am very specifically not outdoorsy. So I'm going to look, and it's like, and I think I have it upside down at a certain moment, and then I certainly, there's like the basic part of making a tent that anyone could probably do, but then there are the other parts like tacking it down so it doesn't fly. Like there are all those actual details with tents that a person who's not outdoorsy does not know. And so I get the stick in there, and then the top part, but I hold it.
I'm going to come over and very gently start assisting Wakati on his side.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know why this feels so familiar to me, but it does.
Huh. Well, I know why. Because we grew up together. And so when you probably helped me make tents before.
And you never learned in all that time. Liren says, definitely with a twinkle in her eye, to be very clear.
Well, I feel like that's why we lived in the cave, in the hideout, because it was much easier than making tents.
I think you're right, little one.
All right, Amara, meanwhile, you have wandered off to gather some firewood. What are you thinking about as you walk off?
I think it's easy to say what I'm not thinking of. I'm thinking of everything. There's so much on my mind at the moment. What I learned today about these two kids coming out of the fold. Apparently there being a third running around somewhere in Naviri.
Yeah.
One of them being one of my students that I thought had died with the rest of them over 20 years ago. Learning that the others hadn't died, that they're stuck in the fold, that it's worse than I had originally feared, that death may have actually been a mercy if that's what they faced instead of the fold. The moment of hope, hearing that they're still there, that it may be possible to go in and save them, and the sudden loss of that hope, or at the very least intense dwindling. But even as I walk through here, it does feel hopeless of getting in there and getting them out. So I think right now I'm just trying to lose myself in the monotony of this walk, this search for firewood. I think I could honestly have even maybe taken a boat to where we're heading, but I just chose to walk because it was something more to concentrate and focus on.
Yeah. I have a follow-up question for you. I'm just thinking of how I can say it without revealing anything crazy. You have a secret, don't you, related to this? And so I'm going to ask you a question about that specifically without spoiling anything. are you taking them to see this engineer to... I feel like you have a bone to pick with this engineer, right? Because I think you just learned something that you weren't privy to before, if it's true.
Yes. I've been told by many that I'm grouchy or grumpy, but I don't consider myself an angry person. But that is definitely very close to what I'm feeling when thinking about this engineer at the moment.
Okay. And you've never met this engineer. You heard about this engineer from a mutual friend, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is about, I'd say, 5 minutes into your collecting of wood. Do you think that I assume you've done this enough that you were able to still collect wood. It's not like you're so distracted that you're not collecting a decent amount, but you collect a decent amount. But
if anything, I'm collecting a decent amount because of this.
Because you're thinking, and so you're just like not thinking actively about it, so you're able to collect a little bit more. But it is about you've collected the firewood, and maybe you're starting to head back when you hear one of the 3 younger kids scream as like a cry out of terror, and then we're going to switch back to them real quick. So the 3 of you are building this tent. Where are we in this tent building process, and who's helping and who's doing what?
I'm not helping at all. I'm documenting the process.
Oh, right. Okay.
You're for the next time that somebody does this, because there weren't any instructions. And
right. So you're just going to rip out the page and include an instruction page with the tent. Yep. Okay. That makes total sense.
I would like to think that I'm helping, but I feel like that may not be actually what I'm doing. I might actually be hindering, because that's technically what happens when you have a skill like not outdoorsy. It hinders. So I think I'm helping, but you know.
Would you do me a favor and put your tokens where they would be in this scenario, in this situation?
Tokens?
Yes.
That's mysterious.
On the map.
And also perhaps disconcerting. For no reason.
No reason at all.
No. I think that I'm just right there. I feel like this is where I am.
Okay.
Because is that where that's water?
Yeah, that's
I'll be over here, farther away from the water, just in case.
Okay.
I don't like being in water.
I would be.
Oh, that I knew. I did know that about you.
Oh, I thought sometimes
I would
people
be
don't know.
Right next to Wakati.
Okay. Yes, I thought so. All right. And then you, my dear, we have you up above them, closer to the water. Is that right?
Yeah, I think with my back to the water, like I'm facing them and I'm observing.
Okay. I'm moving you around so that they can see. All right, perfect. And the tent is like nowhere near completion, right? You guys have been spending a couple of minutes trying to do this, but you've got, Wakati who's like holding the thing and then going, wait, which way does it go? And while it's incredibly familiar to Lirin, she is very gently guiding him through the process. So hopefully he learns for next time. When a very putrid smell comes across the wind coming in from the water here. Do you do anything?
What kind of putrid? Like
rotten, dying fish. Yes. Yep. That is exactly right.
I look towards the direction because it smells bad.
Ha! Okay, so you turn around and you're holding this tent stick, and as you turn around, you see crawling out of the water a dragon slime. Now, have you ever seen one of these before?
No.
Okay.
I've heard about them.
Yes. What have you heard about them? This is interesting.
Well, when you're a small guppy,
Mm-hmm.
they tell you stories about how you shouldn't go wandering out by yourself at night because dragon slimes will come and eat you.
That's exactly right. And I think maybe that story surfaces to your adorable guppy little brain when you see this thing. Yeah, and you scream. So Amara, that is the scream that you heard was exactly that. As this creature is climbing out of the water. Now, I will say it looks like an eel, except that it's got two fronds that go in the back, almost like, I guess, feelers that go from a deep blue to a deep purple. And then it has multiple tentacles that escape. So it's like an octopus meets an eel, and it's got a very, very sharp mouth, and it looks a little sick. And I will say that you don't even need to roll for this if you don't want to, Tufa, because you would know what this creature is. Or you can pull out your compendium and flip through real quick, which is kind of what I imagine that you're doing. And I can give you some more info on this thing. Yeah. Okay, so what I would love to do is send it to you so that you can shout it out in character while you're, like as if you're reading it, because I think that would be really, really fun.
Okay.
I scream and I fall backwards and I scramble backwards like because they eat.
I will say the first thing that comes to your mind, or maybe, can I ask you actually a question about your bestiary? Because you've got like this little. Okay, what does it look like? What is it like? Is it filled with your own notes? Like, okay,
absolutely.
Tell us about it.
I borrowed one from the library, and I really had to restrain myself from like writing in the margins and like underlining with the different colored pens. And I obviously didn't want to spoil it for anybody who might look at it in the future, but knew that my notes were going to add to it and make it a better book. So I decided that I would get my own copy of it, and that one day in the future I would publish a better edition of it. So I consistently like put extra pages in it in the right alphabetical order, and there's a section at the back of a whole load of pages with diagrams and descriptions of things that I haven't been able to find in the book before. So it's definitely better than the version that I borrowed from the library, and I'm very, very precious about it because I don't know what anybody else would do, and they might not understand how valuable all of this information is. So I'm very, very protective over it.
How?
Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you what it looked like. I mean, it looks like a regular book. It's kind of golden.
Oh, I love this. I love this so much.
Single red bookmark.
Yeah. So I have copy pasted and sent you the actual in-game tabletop RPG text. So feel free to like flavor that and change that a little bit. But I do think that the very first thing that I sent you would be the first thing you notice, because I just imagine your handwriting and then you've underlined it multiple times. That might be the first thing that jumps out at you on the page.
Okay, I just need to read.
Yeah. So while Wakati is screaming and pointing at this thing, Liren, what did you do?
How far away from us is it?
Oh, let me show you. I have this. It is here, and I think I can just change it to your layer so you can see it now, correct?
Yep, we can see it now.
Oh, okay. So, distance-wise, in feet, how many feet do we think that is from us?
I think it's right on the shoreline, and I'm not really good at distance with feet, but let's say it's about 8 feet. That's over 6 feet, human male. Yeah, it's about 8 feet from you.
Okay.
So it's close. It came up out of the water.
I am going to, as quickly as I can possibly move in front of Wakati as he's scrambling backwards.
Yep.
And I would like to immediately begin speaking to it. And I would like to use my Soothe the Savage ability.
Yes. Okay. Tell us a little bit about this ability.
So this ability allows me to calm an animal or creature within 30 feet of me. So I do have to interact with it, but it doesn't need to actually understand my words or gestures, even though I do need to make them. It just needs to see me. And it will remain calm either for 1 minute or for as long as I focus all of my attention on it.
Yep. Okay. I'm just reading because some creatures, they are unable to be interacted with in this way. But it does seem like if you succeed, you will calm this creature a little bit, at least for a moment. All right. Go ahead and make this roll. It's a roll, right, that you need to make? I was reading while listening. I'm so sorry. I was actively GMing.
It would be a roll.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. So go ahead and make that roll for this ability, which I'm assuming is an intellect one. There you go. Okay, let's see. Okay, it remains calm for 1 minute. So I'm assuming this is going to be an intellect roll for you.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and do that. The difficulty is going to be the creature's level here, which, oh boy. I'm going to have you roll a 1d4. For me, anyone, whoever wants to be responsible for the level of this creature.
I'll roll it.
Amara? Amara will do it. All right. Now, this is, by the way, this number is getting added to the base number for this creature. So, roll low. Okay. Oh, no. Okay.
I said they eat guppies.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh no.
Oh.
We can't. It's like impossible, right? All right. Well,
with work.
Okay.
Teamwork.
Your difficulty is 8. Did I just kill you guys in the 3rd episode? All right, let's go.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll use effort on it, but if it's 8, like, is 7 even possible?
I think
like,
for you it is because you have at least one asset also. So
you have an
use
asset and you can use effort.
Yep.
So I bump it down to a 6.
Yeah, which is still hard but doable, and very much.
2 effort.
You could
bump it down to 5.
You were also about to rest for the evening, which would imply that you would be able to get some of that back.
Okay.
Yep. I would use it. I would definitely use it.
I'm gonna use 2 effort, and then I have 1 asset, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Unless you have something else that I don't know about, but I'm thinking of, who you are. So yeah, you've got that as an asset. Yep.
Maybe you have a cipher or something.
She doesn't. I don't think. Oh, well, unless you picked up something from the house.
Yes.
I don't.
I
don't
have
think so.
the swimming fins.
Okay.
Yeah, right. That's
so nothing helpful. I'm trying to see really quickly. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else.
I feel like I've made a huge mistake just leaving it up to the roll of the dice, but hey, that's what it is. That's what the story is. Let's go. Okay. Go for it.
Wait. Oh.
Okay. All right. Oh boy. All right. That. Oh wait. So did the assets and the effort still? Okay. Rolled a 5. All right. So this does not work. But what I would like to say, it narratively, is that you do communicate with it, because in my mind there's no way that you don't that's just like who you are. So you communicate with this thing, but you realize in an instant it is starving to death. And so even though it might have otherwise been convinced, it is dying and it needs to eat and it is desperate, and so it is going to try to eat you.
Or it's guppies. That's what
yeah. I think it smelled your friend Walkity here.
Lirin, how flammable are you?
That is information I have not needed to know until right now, Miss Tufa.
Well, we might We might need to know it.
I would like to use my Thorn Burst ability.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
quickly as I can.
Absolutely. So you go ahead and do that, and that doesn't need a roll. You just do it, and it does 4 damage. I believe, right? It is 4.
It is 4 damage.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. It's so these. Do you want to go ahead and describe it? What we see?
Yeah. Is it moving at us quickly?
No, I think it's struggling to get out of the water. It's starving. It's on death's door. So hopefully this will be easier than previously considered. But yeah, it's he's moving fast because he's got like 8 tentacles, but it's not as fast as it would have been. So yeah, you can go ahead and stand in the way and shoot these off if you want.
I don't know. Feel free to let me know if this is not possible. I would like to try to aim for its tentacles.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I will always say yes. Okay, this is super cool. Okay, so you fire off these thorns. Why don't you describe what we see?
Yeah, so you almost see, it feels as if you're seeing a movement of Lyran's bark. Like, you know, on trees, like especially like, let's say a sequoia tree, they have those really thick, like chunky pieces of bark. You almost see those like shift like tectonic plates a little bit. And that's where thorns just out of nowhere, like pine needles being shed, but with a purpose, just dart out of her directly at the tentacles of this dragon slime.
And it's like 6 to 8 of these that just go... Right? Yeah. Okay. Very, very cool. Very cool. Okay. So you go ahead and do that. And that is your opening move. Miss Tufa, what are you doing?
I would like to cast Cutting Light.
All right. What is that?
It is up in chat. It's a thin beam of energized light emitted from my hands. It inflicts 5 points of damage on a single foe in immediate range. The beam is even more effective against immobile, non-living targets, slicing up to 1 foot 30 centimeters of any material that is level 6 or lower. The material can be up to 1 foot thick. I would like to follow Lyran's lead and attack a tentacle.
Okay. Now, I thought, and this is totally fine if you want it to come out of your hand, but I also thought it would be super cool if all of these abilities were some weird device or something that you pull out of your pocket. So why don't you describe what this looks like?
Sure. I can show you what it looks like. It looks like this.
Oh, what?
So this is a gold animal skull. It's very small. It's about the size of my palm, and it's got long horns. And it's and it's gold. It's relatively flat as well. It doesn't appear to be an actual animal skull, but who knows? I found this on the beach, and when we learn how to infuse objects with light, and when we learn how to do that, it made only the perfect sense that it would need to come out of a horn.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic. Okay. So this is an intellect roll. This is an attack, which I think this should be in the attack section of your sheet. Let me just double check.
Yep. And how much effort can I use?
You can use as many as you want. Just keep in mind you've got a pool. Yeah, and once that pool is gone, you're going to need to refresh it.
Yeah.
And
so
difficulty is
effort. Just so you know, effort. The first piece of effort you use in an action costs 3 points from whatever pool you're using. So I think for you be intellect, and then the second and onwards will be 2 for an action. So you can that thing restarts every action. Use effort, but
you only have so much of your fuel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I can. It's a discount.
Yes.
Which you do have intellect edge, by the way. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know about the edge thing.
Yeah, we can do that in the future for that
think
roll
it's
if you want.
automatic, though. I think
it
it's
is?
automatically calculated.
I think so.
It doesn't. I mean, it's automatically calculated in the roll, but you have to make the change in your character sheet yourself of like how much you've lost.
Oh yeah, okay. You have to.
I've lost
it
a
doesn't
lot.
automatically take it.
So I'm stressed out. This is not helping.
This is not helping at all.
This is difficulty 8.
Yes, that is correct. I am regretting it. I'm sorry.
I can help.
You can also run, by the way. I'm just letting you all know that if it looks dire, you can run. No one will judge you.
I don't think it's crossed my mind. This is the most exciting thing I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Yeah. Oh boy. Also, this creature, by the way, is incredibly rare. They really do only come up and attack people at night, as the stories that Wakati heard. But when they're really hungry and they need food, they're usually a deep sea creature.
I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Well, let's let Tufa go ahead and make this roll. So yes, difficulty 8. Mm-hmm. I have an idea, and it's mostly screaming. Woo! Oh my god. Okay, so you do 5 damage. Hell yes. What does this look like as the beam of light comes sparking out of here? I just imagine it's still like you're kind of like hunched over holding it, and maybe for a second it doesn't immediately go off, and so you just kind of like hit it, or you do whatever it is to coax it, and then all of a sudden it's like, and this like laser comes out.
This is everything that I ever hoped for. You're right. It didn't work, and I think the reason it didn't work is because I was holding it with my hands covered over the sensor. Like I put the sensor there for a reason. I turn around and I give it a tap, and I thrust it forwards, and out of these 2 horns come these huge balls of light, to the point I'm so astounded. Like, this is, I built this. This is everything that I dreamed of, but I'm so surprised that I kind of stagger backwards a little bit from it and look at it like, oh my god. And then immediately I'd like to look at Liren to see her reaction.
Senpai! Senpai!
You don't see Liren's gaze leave the dragon slime at all, but you do see her jaw drop. Not to metagame, but just because I'm trying to wrap my head around how the effort and the pool and everything works.
Yeah.
Kolo, do you have enough to do that again, in theory? I know it's a really tough roll.
Yes. I need to manually change my pool, right?
Yep.
So I used a 4 effort on that. So my edge is 2, so I should take 2 out of my pool. Have I understood that correctly?
I think the first one is 3, and then the second one is 2.
Yeah, first one costs 3. So actually, if you check, so if you check at the bottom of your roll it where it says cost, it actually tells you how much it costs.
Oh hell yeah! That makes it easier.
Takes the -2 is at your edge, so it already takes that into account.
Nice.
Okay.
So
so my pool should go down by 9.
9, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I could do it again, but it was like that was hard. I probably couldn't do it again very many times.
Okay. I think Liren does not break her gaze with it, and calls out loudly, "Miss Tufa, again!" And I'm gonna use my inspire action.
I love this ability!
So you can take that action again as an additional one immediately. It doesn't interfere with you having already done an action this turn.
And can I take that same action with the same effort without spending that effort again?
No, I think it's you basically just get to take a second action this round.
Fabulous.
Which is such a cool ability.
That is very cool. Oh my god.
If we can slow this thing down from getting to us, that would be amazing.
That would be very much ideal, yes. Just out of curiosity, does everybody know how many hit points they have?
Yes.
In general? Yeah, could I just hear those numbers real quick?
I mean, your hit points are technically your pool, so you have to do that. I guess you have to do that math.
Oh god. Okay.
Yeah, so the more you use, the less hits you can take because your pool is also your hit points.
Oh great.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Miss Kolo, I imagine that your focus, and I don't know if you heard that because that was also a refresher for me, that your pool is also your hit points.
Yeah.
So be careful.
So
yep.
The step is If one pool goes down to 0, you're impaired. If 2 pools go down to 0, you're debilitated. If 3 goes down to 0, I believe just dead.
Okay,
And
so but that's
do these
all 3
pools-
of your pools. Yep. mhm.
All
And
3 of
do
your
they
pools, yeah.
refresh at any point?
Well,
You can take an action.
You can heal.
Yeah.
Yep. You can
I
take
don't
an
think
action
they've
to do
taken-
that, but also, and I think you would know this, and this is, I don't care if this is considered table talk, we're doing it. Lyrin does have abilities that refresh everyone's pools by just being around her. So,
Okay.
yeah. I feel like you would have felt that being around her the last day and a half.
I'm
Okay.
putting my pools in the on my token so that you can see
Oh, that's a
them.
good idea.
Well, I've seen your pools, so I'm less terrified now. So we're good. We're good. We're good. I thought
Still
I
want
looked
to
at how
be
much damage
terrified.
this thing does in one hit, and I went, "Oh no, oh no!" But it'll be fine, right?
I'm gonna do the same again, but
Yep,
I'm
let's do
gonna
it.
use half as much effort.
Okay. All right.
No.
Another nat 1. Oh my god. Okay. Which is an
But wait.
immediate. Yes.
But there's a thing when you get a nat 1.
Yes.
Though you also get experience points
do.
for that.
You
for
get
yourself
one-
and I think someone else. Is that correct?
I think when
I
you
don't-
fail, you give the experience to someone else. I think. But
Yeah, I think
it's
only
been a
when
while. Yep.
When a GM offers it without it being a roll, that's when you get 2 experience and you give 1 to someone else you want to keep.
Yeah.
When it's just from a roll, like a nat 1, I actually don't think you get experience at all.
I do
When
think
it's
you
a-
get
when it's
one
due
when
to a
you
nat
roll
one.
when you roll a nat 1 and you get a GM intrusion. I do think you get an experience. Oh
Yeah?
wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that you do. I'm gonna say that you do
Yeah.
because we're also doing
I
a
will
shorter
look.
season of episodes, so I'd
Yeah,
like for you
that's
guys to
true.
level up a lot. So we'll go ahead and take the experience point, or you can give it to someone else if you want. But yeah, of course. Yep, you'll take it. So there you go. You have had 2 experience points you gained today. Okay, so but what I think happens is actually, I'm going to let you decide how this device sort of kind of maybe temporarily breaks. You're going to have to fix it. This nat 1.
The device that I made functions extremely well. It's
course.
absolutely user error here, and I think that the reason that it's user error is because This is the most exciting thing that I
Yeah.
have ever done.
Mhm.
I'm living my dreams right now, and Lyrin just encouraged me.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? I have
Yeah.
a friend. Like, wow, that's so cool. And I really want to impress. And I just cover that sensor straight again. I do exactly the same mistake that I made the first time. And I think I look at it, and as I turn around to look at it to make sure that I'm not covering it, it
Yeah.
does its thing, but in
And
totally the wrong direction onto the floor.
And then you're just kind of like, ah, and then it just points in the other direction. Okay, wonderful. I love it. Okay. It is now the creature's turn. And now I'm going to have one of you. Oh, yes.
What
I'm so
about
sorry.
me?
Yep, go ahead. You go after
I mean,
me,
I
I
know-
think. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think we didn't do an initiative, did we?
We didn't, at least not technically speaking. But I was assuming since you were so terrified
freaking
that
out.
I would go before you. But if you would like
Please,
to go, you
no.
may.
I mean, did you go before me or after? I don't know.
Who knows?
These things get difficult to know.
I also know that you have abilities that interrupt me. So I will go ahead and go if you'd like. Oh, that's right. Not anymore. My apologies. You should go first then.
I mean, I should have abilities that let me. They're not on my sheet anymore. That's strange. I am. I'm going to look to see all of the possibilities that will happen in the next few moments. If you don't
Okay.
mind. I
I don't mind at all.
all of them.
All of them? Are you sure?
That's what happens. I can't really pick and choose. I just see all of them, is what happens. And then I have to figure out which ones are the real ones and which ones are not. I just have to see all the possibilities. And
Now
then
this is
if
a
I see
roll, right?
All of the possibilities. I don't think so. It just gives me an asset.
Okay, it's an asset for the roll, though, right?
Well, for the next action.
Okay, right. Okay. So, I think you see this creature whipping a tentacle out. Liren stops it with a very quick lightning reflex, and then another tentacle whips around, and she manages to stop that one too. You see Tufa using her light beam. She cuts off a tentacle. And then you also see Liren being overwhelmed by how many of these are coming in her direction. She gets grabbed. You also see a version where this creature wraps its tentacle around her, maybe even goes in to bite into her, maybe even bites into her, and then just recoils and throws her. It does not like the way that she tastes, and then goes for Tufa. You also maybe see a version where Amara comes rushing in with his staff, with his like cane, and cracking it right along the jaw and dislocating and breaking this thing's jaw. You see many different versions. Most of them end very badly.
I'm going to. There is a version with a jellyfish of some sort.
Is there?
Where there's a small jellyfish. I'm going to pick that version. I'm going to take the jellyfish and I'm going to bring it back with me as I come back with the jellyfish.
Okay.
I have a jellyfish. It's a jellyfish. It's full of fluids. It's a jellyfish. I have a jellyfish. That'll fix it. It's a jellyfish.
Okay, it is my turn now, correct?
Yes, I have a jellyfish.
You are going to break my heart. Okay. You do have a jellyfish. I'm going to attack. Will somebody roll a 1d3? You're like, I'm going to cry.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I'll do it because I saw the future.
Doing it.
Yeah, you should go ahead and do it. But let's establish right now, 1 is going to be Liren, 2 is going to be Tufa, and 3 is going to be you, my dear.
Yes. Okay. Pick me. No. That's what it seemed like in my vision.
Yeah, that vision where it kept coming for her, right? Okay. Okay. This creature whips out a tentacle towards you, so you are going to have to roll to dodge this thing, which is your speed, Liren.
Okay.
Difficulty is 8.
Difficulty is 8. Okay.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think if I have literally anything that would help me here.
I would like to make you an offer. Can I have a GM intrusion and you get an experience point and also you can give somebody else one?
Sure.
Okay. I think you can just in your brain call out for help. Like you're like, I don't know what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It won't happen immediately, but it will happen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Liren, anybody who's ever done like dance or yoga or movement classes of any kind will know what I'm talking about when I say she roots her feet down into the ground, and reaches out with her mind and feels herself connect to where they are, the flora, the fauna, the ground beneath her feet, and calls out silently.
Okay. Yes. Fantastic. Okay. You will go ahead and make your normal roll. I am going to give you an asset, even though technically that asset is not here yet. Because I don't want you to die.
Thank you. Yeah. I would also like
to not die.
I do have trained without armor, so I'm trained in speed defense tasks when not wearing armor.
Yes, that's right.
So, what does me being trained in it do? Does that give me another asset?
It's not an asset. It eases. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's 7.
Yep. So it brings the difficulty down to 7.
Okay. So difficulty 7.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the asset as well.
I'm going to spend some effort on this.
Yes. Good idea.
And so I want to make sure I do this right.
Mm-hmm.
My pool for my speed is 16.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very high.
So if the first one is 3, the second one you said costs 2.
2, and it just stays 2 for after that. So the first one is 3. Everything after the first one is 2.
Okay.
If you have edge, that reduces it.
I do have one edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be you take the total you're going to pay, and then just take away 1 from that.
Okay. I think I want to use 3 effort. I really don't want to die right now.
Yep.
Do you have an effort level of 3?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And then I have 1 asset, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I swear, if I still fail this, it's meant to be.
You didn't. You succeed. What happens? Yay! What do we see as this tentacle? In fact, because this was such a hard roll, I'm going to say 2 tentacles whip towards you, and you somehow managed to dodge both.
Okay. I think the best way I can think to describe it, if you've ever seen somebody do something like Tai Chi, this very fluid kind of movement where you almost feel like they're moving energy in the air as they are leaning and moving their arms. I think you see Liren do something like that. And as she has rooted herself and felt connected to the physical space around them, she moves in this very slow, or not like physically slow, but like each muscle is moving individually, deliberately, where it's by a hair. Like it's literally like a centimeter off of where the tentacle is hitting, that she's kind of like moving her torso and rolling her head underneath another one.
She's pulling a Neo from the Matrix. She's just like,
yeah.
My question is, and this is just for my own imagination, and I suppose everybody else's too, but does she move more than she needs to?
No.
Yep. Okay. So it's literally like whoop, and then it just misses, just narrowly misses. So I think maybe you might, if you're looking at her, you might see like, oh, she just got hit, but then you realize, oh no, she moved literally a centimeter out of the way enough to escape this thing. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that says a lot. The fact that you don't like overextend. You are only moving the distance you need to escape this thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, for her, it's almost like there is a Liren-shaped pocket of air that she knows she can slot into, and like that is exactly where she needs to be, and she dodges both of them.
Okay, fantastic. I love this so much. I will say to Tufa, if you are watching your new friend here, I do think you see my chronic energy light up along her bark-like skin for a second as she does this.
I think, because I can pick somebody to give an experience point to,
that's
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would go to Tufa because she has such an up-close view of what's happening.
Yeah.
But I do think it like deepens her knowledge of how she could also interact with the space around her.
Fantastic. Okay. That is it for my turn. Who's next?
I will be next, as I think you smell the scent of ozone in the air before you see Amara. And with speeds that no man, honestly, over 30 should be moving at, let alone over 100, Amara runs right past all 3 of you, see crackling energy coming off of their body like lightning as they come with their cane in hand and swing directly for the jaw of this dragon slime.
Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
You will have an asset. I think maybe not traditionally, but you do because Wakati just saw this happen. And I think that applies. I think that should apply. That's not me just being a nice GM. It makes sense narratively for that to apply.
Well, I could give him the asset because I have one asset that I can use before on my next turn. I was going to do something else with it, but I will give him my
you could
jellyfish.
Yeah. Yes.
What I do is I take this stone that I have and I shove it inside the jellyfish and I toss it to Amara. And I say, Mr. Amara, in its mouth, quick. And I back away.
In that case, I think they go for almost like a baseball bat swing, slamming into the jellyfish and then continuing through, slamming the jellyfish and the cane into the mouth of this creature. Clearly not to feed it. You can tell with the force behind it, it's to dislocate.
It's to, dislocate the jaw.
Well, I hope you feed it, though, because it's a fish and it's
hungry. Is this twice our size or no?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
In fact,
you get
indeed
an asset
it is.
from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because that's what I got the jellyfish. And then if you
get
get it in its mouth, I will say something.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. What do I add to this?
You get an asset from me.
2 levels of effort into this.
It's the jellyfish.
Yeah. Then I get asset. And then I think that's pretty much everything. Actually, I would like to.
We're all
pitch
like,
something.
oh god.
I as a fighter, as a Tidal Blade, or rather Tidal Master, ex-Tidal Master, I have a skill called Monster Lore. And I know all monsters.
Oh, yes,
I just
okay.
know all monsters in Naviri.
Oh, yeah. And this is, yes.
I believe from our last episode, Amara was the only one who didn't take advantage of my inspiring ease.
Yes.
Once per day, you can ease a task.
And it is not the end of the day yet. So you could ease this if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But yes, you do know all monsters. And I don't think anybody relieved you of the title of Title Master except for yourself. So I don't think ex-Title Master counts here. I think it's Title Master.
We'll see how this all works out. As I swing.
I believe.
Dealing 18 points of damage as I slam my walking cane into the jaw of this creature, almost tearing it off with the impact. You see the follow through kind of makes him stagger and again props himself on their cane almost immediately to look at what's left of this creature.
Yeah. Does lightning come along this cane?
Yes.
Okay.
You hear like a crackle, like the crackle thunder, and you see lightning come off this cane as maybe once again, after seeing the Stormbringer, you remember that Amara wasn't always Naviri's cracked shell. He was once known as the Storm Shell of Naviri.
Yes,
I have a question.
Yes.
The jellyfish.
Yes.
Did it eat it? Well, did it go down its gullet?
I don't think it did, honestly, because I think it's trying to dislocate its jaw. So I think that he took the stone and hit it with it. I think it did damage, but
no, the stone was inside of the jellyfish, and so the jellyfish explodes and does not damage the creature into a huge giant boulder that weighs many, many pounds. But it's not inside of it. A 5-foot boulder emerges that weighs 500 pounds, but it didn't make it inside the creature, so it just sits next to it, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
I was wanting to get it inside.
Yeah. I see. But it's just the idea that it dislocated its jaw instead of trying to put it down its throat. Yeah. Okay. So we see this jellyfish explode and this boulder suddenly get like 5 times larger, right? And it just plops down next to him? Okay. There's a huge splash as we all see this like stone suddenly grow 5 times its original size.
Well, more than that, because it was just a small stone. And it's
Yeah,
now
it
5
was like
feet
a pebble.
wide and 500 pounds.
That's crazy. Okay, so it is just this huge rock that lands next to this thing. I think this thing probably runs into it, bumps into it, because its jaw did get it. You did 8 damage. Just to give everybody an idea who's listening,
that was 18.
Sorry, 18 damage. That's what I meant. We had 4, we had 5, we had almost 5 again, and then 18 damage. Amara comes in and does in one swing. Unreal. But this thing does still stand. It looks.
I used my cipher, by the way. That was a cipher.
Okay. It
As
does.
Amara
Mhm.
leans on the cane scope, go for the jaw. That's his weak spot. As they ready themselves again. I think they're going to position themselves in between Tufa, if they
Okay.
can, between Tufa and Lurin and this creature.
I'm sure that they will kind of move slightly to the side so that is a possibility. I can't imagine they would get in your way there. Okay. Who's next?
Could I go?
Yes, you may, of course. So there's no official turn order. So we're just anybody can jump in here. Yep.
I just go, hey, I'm Tasty. It's me. I'm Tasty. And I hop up and I get up closer to it and wave my arms.
You're
I
using an
distract it.
ability to distract it, so
No.
it comes for you, right?
Anyone can distract it.
Okay.
And I'm drawing. I'm just distracting it, so it should be hindered.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Hey.
Okay. Who's next?
Oh, I think I'm just going to go for another thorn burst if I can do that again.
Absolutely. It's
having heard
automatic
Amara,
damage, so
yeah, having heard Amara say that the jaw is the weak point, would I have to move where I am? Or I'll rephrase this: can I move where I am now that Wakati is trying to distract it? I'd like to put an arm out,
to
protect Wakati.
Oh, yeah.
And do my thorn burst at trying to aim for this area.
Yes, you can move and do your action. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and shoot out the thorns, which do a set number of damage. They come out again, like the tectonic plates that we saw of her like bark-like skin shifting and moving, and then these thorns come out and head straight for, I want to say like in a row. They just go like along its bottom jaw, and it yowls in pain for a moment and leans up against this rock as almost to steady itself. And then it growls and slime drips from its jaw as it gets back up and gets ready to attack. Tufa, you're up.
I am going to do the same again, cutting. I'm going to go for cutting light.
Mhm.
And I would also like to aim for the jaw.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll, my darling, unless you did it already. Oh, no. Okay. We're ready. Okay. What happens?
I think I'm falling in the slime.
Okay,
I think as Lyrin's thorns have damaged this creature's jaw and it's like slimed all over the place, I think I step forward. I like make doubly sure I am not making this same mistake again. Like, that's not what a scientist does. We're not going to replicate the same circumstances. So I make doubly sure I'm not touching the sensor. And I step forward to make sure that I'm within the exact optimum range. And I push my hand forward. And as I push my hand forward, I slip on the
You
slime.
slip. Okay.
Face first.
All right. I will go now, and then Amara. Okay, so somebody roll me a 1d3.
I would like to forego that 1d3 as I point at this and go, eyes on me, and I want to try and draw the attack on myself.
Okay. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Is that something that you have to do on your turn? Because that's an ability
No.
that I think you can do at any time, like a reaction.
Yeah,
Yep,
any point.
Yep.
I think
okay.
the only downside is that it increases the difficulty by 2 steps, I believe.
Oh, let me see. I'm right on the page. When an NPC
Yeah.
attacks a character, another PC can prominently present themselves, shout taunts, and move to try to get the foe to attack them instead. In most cases, this action succeeds without a roll. The opponent attacks the prominent PC instead. In other cases, such as the intelligent determines, but who cares about that? If the intelligent action is successful, right, who's defender, but that's only if it's, it says in other cases, as with intelligent or determined foes, the prominent character must succeed at an intellect action, and if that intellect action is successful, then the defense is hindered. But this was not an intellect action at the moment. It's only if they're determined or intelligent. If they're not, it just happens without a roll, and there's not the hindrance.
It's determined, but I don't want to roll for it, so I say we just do it, because it makes sense to me also that you are a yummy-looking turtle. And so it probably goes, yeah, sure, it's very hungry. It's determined, but it's also starving. So does it want to try to go for a tree again, or does it want, you know, and the you know, the yummy little, the fish, adorable creature is behind the tree. So I think he probably just goes, yes, whatever wants to dangle itself in front of me, I will try to eat it.
Its attack is hindered because I'm being distracted.
That is correct. But it is difficulty two steps higher. Is that what we learned? Nope. It's just the same.
It's only 2 steps higher if he has to roll to make the creature attack him.
Okay.
But if the attacker just does attack him, then no extra
just difficulty of 8, but it is hindered.
So 7.
Okay. Oh, as I actually forgot to mention this, but as you're watching Amara and that he's kind of staying still for a while, you see that the belts, the kind of belts he had around his waist, have been wrapped around his arm, and you see that they've actually been attached together, and you can tell that it's been built that way to act like a almost buckler shield as he raises his forearm and raises the cane in the other, and prepares himself for this attack. I will this is property 7 effort. I put 2 points of effort.
Okay.
I don't think I have any assets. No.
Do you have an asset? Yeah, I'm gonna give you an asset. You broke its jaw. Yeah. Oh, you did. Oh my god.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
And the moment I dodge this, you see I divert the attack with the shield on my arm, and I'm going to use my an ability, Seize the Moment.
What does that do, Amara?
If you succeed on a speed defense roll to resist an attack, you gain an action. You can use the action immediately, even if you're already taking your turn that round. So as I deflect this, I'm going to take an action to slam down into this creature again.
Yes.
With
okay.
An extra turn.
So keep in mind that does say you don't take an action during the next round unless you do something.
Unless I pay effort, and I will
Got
pay.
it.
I will pay effort.
You will.
Okay, so no, there we go. Okay, so it's still hindered.
It's only for its attacks, though.
Oh, for its attacks. Okay.
Yep.
Only for its attacks.
Okay.
7 minutes away.
Effort.
Tasty.
I used 2 last time, so I think it was 1 this time. Asset. I discarded its jaw. And monster law. And no effort in damage. As I deflect this, and then as the tentacle slams into the sand beside me, I slam my cane into its tentacle, severing it, dealing 15 points of damage. And again, you hear the crack of thunder and the strike of lightning with this strike.
I think you don't just like hear it. I think we see it's almost like you call down lightning from the sky just a little bit, and it crackles alongside the cane as you sever one of these tentacles.
And you see the sand almost turn into crystalline glass underneath the impact of the strike. And again, immediately leans on their cane.
Yeah, okay.
This is taking a lot out of them.
This thing looks very, very messed up, but it is still standing somehow. Okay. Now, it is technically your turn and you're going to use some effort, but may I suggest that something happens before you do this, if that is acceptable?
Me?
Yes, because I think you said you were going to take your turn, right? Because technically I went and then you blocked the attack and got a free attack and now it's your turn. But if you're all right with it, I would love for something that happened technically earlier and I was like, that doesn't happen yet, but it'll happen now. Happens.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
Okay. All right. So I think as you have attacked this thing, it falls up against this, this boulder that now exists there. I think we hear this little like, and this like rock, this like rolling rock, comes barreling down the hill. And then it like careens off the edge and it comes flying down to hit this thing. How much damage does this do? 3 points of damage. Okay, so this little like rock type thing comes sailing by and it hits this thing and then rolls back up and lands right next to you, Liren. It is a mist burrow creature and I will drop it here in the Discord so you can see it, or I will put it here so that you can see it. It is like a little dinosaur that has like a shell back, and it's flippin' adorable. So it has come to your aid. And this is what it looks like here, if I can. Oh, please don't do that, computer. Don't you dare. Like, Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like here. Can you guys see that?
Oh.
Yeah, you've got this little like dinosaur creature here that is here to aid you. It's about the same size as you, Wakati. So, yeah, it's very big.
It's huge.
Well,
I mean, not for
to you and me. Yeah. To you and me, it seems pretty big. Okay, so it is here and it does damage. And I'm gonna say, Amara, if you get this attack in, you will take this thing down. You know that.
Yeah.
It is stumbling around. It's missing a tentacle. It is like tons of slime is coming out of its mouth. I think its eyes are rolling in the back of its head. It's groaning out in pain. It's so hungry. But this is the toughest meal of its life. And it's probably not, I think it's realizing it's probably not going to make it. So any attack it makes now is just desperate, just out of desperation. Okay.
I might regret this, but looking at this creature, the damage I've dealt, that we've dealt, to be quite honest, if I got it to leave, would it survive or would it likely die in the wild?
The only time they come up on the shore is if they're dying. So it probably will not survive in the wild unless you were to try to feed it. Let me just double check and see if it has intelligence in which it can engage with you. Some of these creatures do, but I don't think this one does. But I could be wrong, so let me just double check. Because I understand and admire your compassion in this moment. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Reading. I do not see anything about intelligence here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't think that it will, yeah, I don't think that you can interact with it.
Okay. In that case, understanding that from the get-go, I've come across dragon slams before.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel sorry for it, but I do grab my cane in both hands this time, and I'll use my ability, Crushing Blow.
Okay.
Which just adds extra damage to this as I swing Yeah, that one.
A nat 1? I need you to tell me why this fails.
I think, can I actually do something?
Yes,
As
absolutely.
You see, I think Wakati sees this failure as, I think, despite the speed and almost a muscle memory Amara's working with, at the end of the day, they are old. And you see as they swing, they almost overextend and miss, and you hear like almost a crack, almost like something dislocating in their hip as they swing. But all of a sudden, he's back up in motion again as I use time combatant. And you see a sudden condensation of micronic energy wrap around Amara, and he attacks again, seeing and remembering this failed attempt, and reverting, making a small time loop to swing one more time.
Oh my god, roll again!
Okay, let's hope.
I can't.
Loop through time.
There we go. And he slams down for 18 damage.
How do you kill it?
I think as they miss, you hear this crack in their hip, and Amara says, no. And then you suddenly see them, everything shift back again, and Amara swings one more time. And just a split second before the cane connects, under his breath, you hear him say, I'm sorry, and slams the cane down on the skull of this dragon slime, putting it out of its misery. And again, maybe a bit more heavily than before, leans on his cane and turns around and goes, I ask you to put up the tent. It's fine. I'll get to it.
Question. Because there are two types of time travel in this universe. Do you feel pain in your hip, even though you went back?
I think I feel the ache of it, like a phantom pain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, not cool, but I like that's how you're interpreting that time travel. So, okay.
Yeah.
This creature falls down into the water. It has passed. You have a little friend next to you that just kind of lazily looks up at you with one eye blinking before the other eye, Liren. It's got its little plump shell, and it's got some teeth sticking out of the bottom. It's got like a big underbite, and it just kind of looks up at you with this like one blinking slow eye, and goes and then plops down next to you, like it's just like sitting down next to you.
I'm going to take a moment to recover because I'm really not feeling well.
Yeah.
I believe you get a +1 to your recovery roll as well, because I have generous as my background.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Liren, with one hand, like reaches down and does a little like with her thumb, kind of like rubs up the creature's nose and kind of puts her hand on its head, but her body, the rest of it, it just turns straight towards Wakati.
Yeah.
And you see her kind of like touching his head, touching his jaw, touching his shoulder to like make sure nothing's out of place.
You would tell that he is a little bit better now, but he was not doing well. He was distracted and fatigued, as if he'd lost something. He seems to be feeling a bit better, but he was quite pale and sweaty. He's feeling a bit better. He's not 100%, but better.
What about Tufa? Because this is the first time this has ever happened to her. Is she like, yeah?
I think it's a mix. I think I'm ashamed actually, because I didn't really I wasn't powerful enough. I wasn't knowledgeable enough. So despite the fact that the party's won, I actually consider this a very personal failure. And I think especially because Mr. Amara's come in and gone the tent, so I think I'm like this energy zap, if I'm totally honest.
Yeah.
Like this really incredible thing has happened. I think I'm just like miserable on the sidelines. But I do think that I'm really interested in. I think I've been brightened up. I think that was the immediate reaction, was like, oh, I've done something wrong. Oh, like this incredible thing has happened, and I'm not worthy. I'm not powerful. I think that was the initial reaction. And I think the moment that this little creature appeared and like sat with Liren, I think that's the in for Tufar to kind of like get back to the group and kind of be really interested in what's happening and feel like she can maybe swallow her pride a little bit and interact. So I think I do go over. But very quietly, very like with trepidation.
Tufar?
Yes, Mr. Kitty.
I reach into my bag and I pull out a golden apple. You should eat this. You tuckered yourself out some, so you should have this apple.
I reach out and take it.
But you'll have to rest for a little bit after you eat it. You should sit down, eat it while sitting down, and then rest.
Thank you. That's kind.
Go ahead, eat it. You'll be surprised.
I think I immediately take a seat, like right next to him. I do what I'm told. I would like to sit down and eat the apple.
It's a cipher. I was saving it for it because it might be important. You may restore up to 10 points in a pool. But you have to rest. It's a level 5 cipher. I saved it in case somebody really needed it. And I feel like you might really need it. So I'm like glad I hope it was tasty. I don't know if it was tasty because sometimes those things don't actually tasty, but I hope it was. You did a really good job. You saved my life. Thank you.
But I got it so
Everybody
wrong.
did. What do you mean? No, you didn't. You were amazing. Your little machine things are really neat. I've got tools. I can fix things a little bit. Not really. I'm a little bit okay with it, but those were really neat things. I've never seen things like that before. Anyway, it was pretty amazing. You did a lot more than I did. Glad you were here. Anyway.
I'm glad you were here.
Gee, I just got in the way.
I'd like to put the apple forward that I've taken one single bite out of and offer it back to Akiti.
You have to eat the whole thing, or else it won't work.
But we could share it. I will allow
It's
it.
okay.
I'm just
I don't
saying,
wanna-
if you want to split it, I will allow it because it's narratively cool.
I don't want to take it from you. You might eat it.
I'm gonna take the apple back and I'm gonna sit it in the heels of my hand and break it like as my hands make kind of a heart shape, or to break it into two. And I'm gonna take the half that has the bite out of it, the bit that I've already eaten, for myself, and give the other half to Akiti.
Thank you. It's very kind. I could use a little bit myself, actually. Oh, wait. Mr. Amara, would you like this half? Do you need it? Or Liren?
I'm fine. Just a little bit sore on the hips, but nothing good night's sleep won't fix.
I'd like to break my half in half and give the bit without the bite to Mr. Amara.
And I break mine and I give another bit to Liren. And I just sort of lean up against Liren, just to put my head on her. Well, pretty tall. How tall are you?
Well, how tall are you?
Not tall.
I would say she's probably definitely not twice your height, but like
maybe
like this is their height difference. Like it's pretty sizable. You don't reach her shoulder, but if you start to lean in, she will dip her shoulder so you can reach it, kind of thing.
Because I figured I might actually reach just your hip. Because, you know.
I was going to say he's very, very short and small. So I think it's probably either.
I'm also small for golfins.
Yeah.
If you lean in, then I think what Liren would do instead was lean her head down and press her forehead up against yours.
I hand you the other part of the golden apple.
And I think we see this mist burrow. I'm so sorry to do this, but I think it would do this. That it like looks at the interaction that's happening between the two and then just very abruptly smashes its head against Liren's like leg to kind of like also do the head butt, and it just sits there and goes.
Liren just kind of gently gives it a little pat.
Mara kind of looks at the piece of the apple Tufar is offering. I think with it flits across his face just for a second of confusion, and then not that I don't understand what's happening, more of but I'm fine, but understands the gesture and just goes, thank you, Tufar, and will take the apple and kind of hold it in his mouth as he starts working on the tent, and with like the piece of slice of the apple in his mouth just goes, do any of you know, I don't know how much you're taught about the Tidal Blades nowadays, but Commander Braze, she was the leader of the Tidal Blades.
I was only 2. I don't know a lot of the details.
Can I roll to see if that triggers anything in my memory?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would I roll for that?
I think this is going to be an intellect roll. Difficulty for anything trying to remember is 4, unless we state otherwise.
Okay.
That's a success. What do you remember?
What does she look like, Amara?
She is a Nagi. So Nagi are almost like humanoid with fish features. So like orange skin, hair that kind of almost seems to fade into fins, very decoral fins that are blue, that they Braze tied behind her head. She had a sister, Leanne, who was also part of the Tidal Blades, and those two were a dangerous duo when they're fighting together. And when they're fighting each other, they butt heads quite often. She was a stubborn, smart mouth is how Amara would describe her, but she took care of her fellow Tidal Blades and was, despite her tendency to be reckless on her own, was a very good tactician when it came to planning and taking on threats with the Tidal Blades behind her. Also, very good with a bow staff, and I think you might have memories of sparring with her during training, I'd imagine.
I think Liren's... I think Liren, after what we saw last time with the memory wipes, I think she knows better than to say anything when you say this, but what you'll see her do is you almost see her moving her hand in a motion that, Amara, you would recognize as sparring with a bow staff. Like this muscle memory of remembering practicing with her. But you would notice Liren kind of casts her gaze down and doesn't look at you when you're asking this.
He doesn't wait too long for response. He continues. For whatever reason, she and her sister really wanted to be Tidal Blades. And I remember the first practical training session, we went out a bit deeper into the ocean and just spent a few days out on an isle, really learning how to camp, as they gesture to the tent that they're building, how to survive without leaning on Naviri for too much help. And we actually came across a dragon slime. And I'll be quite honest with you, they failed that test miserably. Commander Braze, never forgive me for saying this, but she very nearly wet herself. She was that scared. So, all things considered, you did pretty good today.
Liren will stand up and kind of put one hand on Wakati's shoulder. And then she's going to turn and walk back closer to the, like away from the shoreline, back to where they were, closer to where Wakati, where Amara was searching for firewood. And I'd like to look for some kind of flower native to this area.
Okay, absolutely. Let's see, you're up in the Verinian Ridge. Let me see if I can find anything. But yes, please continue. I'll look and I'll see if there's anything in particular, like fruit that might come up. But yeah, you absolutely find something. It doesn't take too long at all.
With Liren away, I just take out my journal and I just kind of go and read through it a little. It's what I do in the quiet time.
And I, after Liren is gone, and I've eaten my very, very delicious piece of apple, literally the most delicious thing that I've ever tasted in my whole entire life. Like, wow. First strawberry of summer, kind of like, but times 10. Exceptional taste. I don't know what the food's like at the Citadel, but I certainly haven't tasted anything like this before. And I'd like to go to Mr. Amara. I would like to apologize for misusing a device and twice, and I would also like to apologize for a sadness and negativity that has affected the group.
Amara looks up at you. I think he's still on his knees setting up this tent, and looks up at you with just blatant confusion on their face, not even hiding it this time around. You don't need to apologize for that. It's fine.
I I'll often hear that it's very useful to cheer others on instead of feeling a certain kind of way about yourself. And
Too far, don't apologize for how you feel. I'm not entirely sure how you're raised or taught in the Citadel, but this is not the Citadel, so leave those practices behind. Feel your feelings and live with them. That's all anyone can or should ask of you.
Oh. Well, that's new.
Are you okay in the Citadel? What is it like there?
Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, it's the most wonderful place.
Okay.
And there is so much incredible, wonderful things to learn, and the most fantastic of teachers. And
that's not what I meant. I meant he taught you that you needed to apologize for feeling a certain way.
Not for feeling a certain way, for behaving a certain. I should have.
How did you behave? You just seemed sad.
I should have. I should have celebrated. I should have been celebrating.
No.
You were very fantastic.
Thank
Majestic,
you.
Actually.
I appreciate it too far, but I don't do it to be celebrated.
Oh. Why do you do it, then?
Because I don't want people to die, to be hurt, especially when I can do something about it.
Of course. And you did.
Too far. Do you have any friends outside of the Citadel?
Well, I have a lot. I'm very busy reading. You don't have much. When you have so much learning to do, you just don't have any time to really spend on frivolous activities.
Too far. Speak to people outside of your bubble.
My bubble?
Yes. Your bubble seems to be the Citadel. To be honest, with the way you handle ciphers, it seems to be even smaller than the Citadel. Maybe 1 or 2 people in there.
What do you mean?
You... Deep fish over there and Liren. Have you spoken to them? Not because you were told to follow, because I know you were told to follow us, but have you just spoken to them about what they're into, what you're into? Are you into anything other than the Citadel?
Well, science. I'm extreme.
Other than
science.
that, do you have a hobby when you're not doing science?
Well, my hobby is science.
That's not a hobby.
What about reading?
What are you reading?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually writing. I mean, it was reading.
Okay.
It started out as reading, but then I just kept adding to it, and now it's just.
That's getting somewhere. Okay, what are you writing?
I'd like to hold up my bestiary, and I'd like to drop it, and it
This is
drops.
more science.
This drops out like if you've ever seen one of those children's coloring pages that like folds out, and so it drops like concertinas out, and I just hold it up, and it just goes, and all of these like colored annotated pages. This is like revision, but a life's work. She's young, but this is her life's work right here. This is I've been writing.
Okay. I don't want you to take this the wrong way because this is very impressive, but this just seems like more work.
Right.
And if you enjoy it, that's fine, but all I'm saying is, from our very few interactions these past few hours, it seems like you could do with learning about things outside of the Citadel. And there are two right there. And I'll point at Lirin and Okati.
But they can't teach me anything that the Citadel hasn't already taught me, or will teach me, and they will package it for me in a way that is approachable and digestible as I go along, and then I'll be able to learn and one day be just like them.
If that's the only way you go about it, you're going to really struggle. You're going to interact with a lot of people, and people aren't as clean and organized as textbooks.
Yes, I do seem to be finding that.
But the only way to get good at that, at interacting, is through practice, through trial and error. And while I can't speak for Deep Fisher, I don't know them very well, and quite frankly, I can't speak for Lirin. And they catch themselves as they look into Tufar's eyes, and they see kind of the reflection of the fold behind us in it, as they remember. But what I do know about Lirin, the very little, is that they would be happy to let you get to know them and get to know you in return, and teach you things you could never learn in a textbook, for one. And I'll take your book from you and flip to the page of the Dragon Slime. They kind of look at you as you gasp, but don't slow down as they flip to the Dragon Slime page. Their jaws is the weak point. They dislocate them to open wider so they can catch more fish underwater. So if you have a fight one, aim for that. Much easier to break.
I'm gonna lean over as he's holding it and write it in the book on the page that he's holding. Wider to catch fish. Aim jaw. Aim forward.
They tend to be docile when they're well fed. If you see them on the beach, most likely they're not. So either run or fight if you know you can win.
Well, I think that when I'd sort of put together, I was really mostly concerned about Lirin because I felt that they would probably be of great harm to the three of us, and she points to Deep Fisher and Amara. But I was very concerned about the burning because and she turns around and looks towards where Lirin left. And there's not really a page for, well, there will be. And she flicks a few pages on and shows Amara a drawing that she's starting to do of Lirin in the book. There will be. There just isn't yet.
I think maybe you should hold off on writing more about Lirin. Have you asked any questions of Lirin, or has this all been an observation?
Well, they say at the Citadel that observation is the first step towards understanding the subject, so...
Lirin isn't a subject, they're a person.
But observation is also the first step in understanding a person.
You seem to be treating it like the only step so far.
Oh.
Speak to them. I noticed you plucking those flowers she touched. If you want to check that out more, ask her to touch more flowers, or just ask her what she's doing to them. It might be easier than having to conduct your own tests.
That sounds simple. That sounds simple.
Yes. And then maybe from there you can ask what she does for a hobby, since yours seems to be science. Maybe you have something in common.
You know, I think I will. Thank you, Mr. Amara. And I'm going to turn
Just
around
Amara.
to leave. And as I take one step away, I'm going to turn back around. Mr. Amara,
Just Amara, yes?
what are your hobbies?
Amara... Yeah, I think Amara laughs. No, that was a good question. Honestly, I should have expected you to ask that. I draw sometimes. I do a little bit of whittling. Haven't done that in a while, but mostly drawing in my free time.
Of like in my book?
Yes. Very similar to your book, maybe with less annotations, more colors.
Would you... Is it rude to ask if you would show me?
No, it's not rude at all. And they will pull out their... first, they kind of pull out their journal, hold it in their hand for a moment before putting it back in their bag and pull out another book. This seems much newer as they flip open, and you see, as they're flipping through the pages, you see a lot of drawings of the fold, of the wall of white, with static energy coming off of it. It's like the drawings of the Tidal Blades. It's photorealistic. It's almost as if you can raise the book up and exactly match the section with the fold that he must have been drawing.
I think that's exactly what I try and do. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I've had a lot of time staring at it. You start to learn the fingerprints.
I very, very carefully close the book, like an archivist wearing gloves holding an incredibly precious book, and hand it back to him. My hands are trembling ever so slightly.
Thank you. It's just a book of drawings. You don't need to. Nothing special. But thank you for asking. Everyone's right there. Go and ask. I'll finish his tent.
I'm gonna turn around to leave. Same thing again. One step, turn around. Mr. Amara?
Just Amara. Yes?
Thank you. Turn on my heel
You're
and
welcome.
I think this is right around the time that Lyran would actually be walking back up to where they still are along the shore. And she would be carrying whatever flowers she was able to find in the nearby area.
I think we also hear this as this very large, adorable dinosaur creature is just following you wherever you go. Maybe it even has some flowers in its mouth. It's like...
Lyran is gonna go up to the creature and... How big was the dragon slime?
Oh, about twice Amara's size. So about twice your size.
5'10".
Yeah, I think you're a little bit taller than Amara, right? Or are you about the same size? Yeah, then it's about twice his size, to give you an idea. It was very big, yeah.
Can I reach up to touch its face? Is it like fallen low enough to the ground?
Yeah, I
that
think
can
it
do that?
fell against the rock, the boulder, yeah.
Liren is going to walk up to it and kind of nestle the flowers into, I imagine, where its jaw is kind of pressing up against the ground. And she's going to reach up and close its eyes and kind of look at her own shoulder. And there's a little sprout that has a small flower on it. And she's going to pluck it off of herself and add it to the flowers. And she's going to kind of put her hand sort of on the bridge of its nose and close her eyes for just a moment.
And the creature next to you plops down. It's still crunching with its adorable underbite, and it's got a little bit of those flowers poking out of its mouth, and it kind of just pauses, looks up at you, sees that you're closing your eyes, looks at it, and then slowly, lazily closes its eyes. But you can still hear it going as it's chewing next to you.
And she's going to take a moment and pause for a beat
Yeah.
and then turn and rejoin the group. Are we in the same area where we were trying to set up the tent earlier?
I think so, yeah. You're not too far from it anyway.
I think she's going to silently get back to assembling the tent.
Okay. It is at this time that you hear a and somebody tripping and falling down the beach, tumbling down. And then they stand up and brush themselves off. Did you have to kill it? And he runs as quickly as he can up to where this fallen beast is, and he is like darting around on either side. Oh my god! And look at its teeth, and oh no! Oh, and this tentacle! You cut this. How did you even do that? And this scientist, actually, to be more specific, this lore hunter is inspecting this creature.
Hello.
Oh. Did you have to kill it?
It was going to kill.
I mean, it wasn't gonna. It was probably gonna. It was definitely gonna eat you. Yeah, but did you have to kill it?
Yes. Regrettably.
They're so rare. I've waited my whole life, and here it is. And you killed it.
So this is probably the third one I've seen.
He just does a double take and looks over at you.
Are you?
And who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you fighting this?
Would you like to sit down?
No, I would not like to sit down.
Oh.
This is the thing that I'm here to study. I must study it.
Okay.
Are you the one? Did you know a Master Takaro?
I think he pauses for a second and looks over at you. Maybe. Who's asking?
His colleague, Amara.
Why did you have to say it like that? Colleague. Like you're not actually his colleague. Are you his colleague or not?
I am actually his colleague.
Okay. And I am actually maybe know him. Depending on who's asking. Maybe colleague.
Amara.
Amara.
Amara's asking me. I'm Amara.
You're Amara, and you are his colleague, for sure.
Yes.
You're not trying to get information out of me as to his location or anything like that, because I won't give it to you. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We can keep... Liren, can you take this?
I think we missed your name, friend.
Dace.
Dace.
Dace Depthfinder. And he reaches out a hand to shake. He's got a bunch of, like, honestly, He's like Tufa, but grown up, and he's got a bunch of like bags and things all over. He's got devices everywhere. Yeah, he is just, and I think he's got even also like a very big monocle on his eye that has multiple different layers, like lenses that you can plop over. So he's got one eye that just looks super huge as he's looking at you right now.
And what was his last name one more time?
Depth Finder, which is hilarious because he's got this big monocle that allows him to see pretty well.
Deeply? Does it allow him to see depth?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I'm a lore hunter, didn't you know?
He seems really worked up right now, and I would like to try to put him at ease.
Ooh, okay.
Because that is a thing that I'm trained in, apparently.
I would like to just help you.
Oh, yes, please do that. Yep, go for it. And I think
I'm going to walk away because I do think my irritated presence will hinder you. So I just kind of walk away. As I see that this is another too far, and I'm like, oh, there's two of them. And I'll walk away.
Oh my god, there's two of them!
Oh.
Do I need to roll anything?
No, I'm just going to say for reasons that you can absolutely do this. For those listening, he is up on the screen at the moment. He is what is known as a tyro, which is like another fish-like humanoid. So he's got blue skin. He does have like yellow fins. He has a scar. It looks like 2 scars that go over his eye that is not covered by this monocle-esque type device. And he does have a bird that is like floating behind him or like flying behind him and flutters down and lands on his shoulder as he's like looking and investigating. He has a yellow tail, and he is dressed in like stereotypical adventurer's garb for Naviri anyway, which is very loose, light clothing that he can move around in.
Mr. Depth Finder.
Yes. Dace. You can just call me Dace.
Dace.
Yeah.
I assure you, when it came out of the water, the first thing we did was attempt to calm it. It was only...
What happened? He whips out a notebook.
To say it was not receptive to my efforts would be an understatement.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5, it's like a -2, -2.5?
A -5, I would say.
Okay, all right. And he takes some notes real quick.
We would not have harmed it had it not been necessary for our survival.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. I'm that's great. I'm glad to hear that you will continue to do that should you run across more incredibly rare, wonderful creatures.
Undoubtedly.
Great.
And she's going to smile encouragingly at him and look at Tufa, and look back at him, and look back at Tufa, and make unbroken eye contact with Tufa.
Oh, yes. Hello. You look familiar.
I'm too far.
Dace.
I hold my hand
and then
up.
they both hold their hands out and shake, maybe awkwardly for a second. Hold too long. Yep. Nice to meet
Dace?
you. Yes.
Could I ask you about your hobbies?
Hobbies? Yes. What? Yes, absolutely. What do you want to know?
Your notebook.
Yes.
Your pockets?
Yes.
Tell me all about them.
Oh, well, I thought you'd never ask. And then he just like starts to take his backpack down and sets it down, and everybody's going to roll on a cipher table as he whips out some ciphers.
Oh my god. I love Tifa so much.
Oh, so everybody go ahead and roll a D100 and we'll look up on the cipher table.
No
which is
way.
9.
Okay, I think this isn't just Tufa's special number. This is everyone's special number here. So we need to decide together what happens when we roll an 89, other than it's just like a blazing critical success, okay? Holy.
Weird time loops. Timey-wimey.
Yeah. It is timey-wimey stuff.
Okay,
For
cool.
everyone listening, we rolled an 8. I rolled an 89.
Yep.
So this is the third 89 so far
Mm-hmm.
in this campaign.
Okay, let me grab ciphers here.
There's food ciphers too.
Yes, and I think though that this first 89 has to be like a.
It has to be that weird weapon thing. It's the
Yep.
weird one that's been looping over and over again.
Yep. So it's
Old,
the same.
new,
Do you
rusted.
think it's the same one,
Yes.
dude?
I'm
of course,
so
it has to be,
curious about
right?
Why?
Yeah, I am also curious about why, but I trust that we will find out through this journey. So he pulls out this device, and I think everyone notices, right? Everyone looks and goes, wait a second, and has a moment and goes, this is the same one from in the house.
Oh.
That's interesting because I think above table, I think too far left the one in the house. So this is not only
Yes.
is it again, but it's
Yes.
following us.
Yes,
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 that is
yes,
correct.
yes,
That is correct.
yes. I
That is
love
correct.
it. Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, yeah. So he drops the bag down and he pulls it out and he goes, this one,
What did you
I
get?
don't know. I must have picked this one up somewhere. And he just like tosses it in the air. Anyone can grab for it if you want.
I'd like
yep,
to try
of
and catch
course.
it.
You don't even need to try. You get it. He just like tosses it up in the air. You can grab it. But it is the same device from inside the house. And I think you might, I don't know how you react to that, but it's the exact same one.
Is it the one with the sharp blade, or is it like the rusted
rusted
version?
Oh, is it the rusted
But
or
it's
sharp
not. It's not rusted. I don't think.
I think
Nope, it's not rusted.
I think
one sharp.
we got.
Yep.
You saw the rusted one. You saw the brand new one. I think this
Mhm.
is like what? I think
Yep,
like in
okay.
the middle. This is like it's been
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the middle of its use.
And he's like, oh, I just found this one, but it's not going to cut you. He wouldn't throw anything that would actively hurt you.
Did you? I imagine that you took a note of where it came from.
Yeah,
and
I'll
the
have to
surroundings.
check as he's like digging through his bag and he pulls out a couple more things. What did you get?
I
With the
rolled a 15.
All right, cipher table here.
I'd like to just gently put it down in the down on the ground and like just make everyone aware of where I'm putting it with my eyes, like stare them.
Amara does walk up to it, like visibly confused as they pick it up.
Like I
Turn it in their hand.
yeah, I just watch Amara turn it over.
You get a brain boost. I don't know what this looks like, but that sounds like something that you absolutely want. Okay. It just says all of the user's tasks involving intelligent deduction, such as playing cards, inferring a connection between clues, creating a scientific solution, and so on, are eased by 2 steps for 1 hour when you use this thing. So add this to your bag because you have it. He's just like handing them out. He doesn't. It's like candy.
What's it called? A brain?
It's called a brain boost. And now you may roll a 1d6 to see what level cipher this is.
Okay.
Fantastic. Fingers crossed that it's max level because that would be nuts. Okay. And you rolled. Oh, 5 is excellent. Okay. And you rolled a 67, M. So let's see what you got here. Micronic sheath. That sounds really good. Hold on. Hold on. User is enveloped in micronic energy for 6 hours. During this time, they have +1 to armor against any type of energy attack, including those that normally ignore armor. This is really huge. And are immune to any effect that would change their phase state. Teleport them, send them through time, or do anything similar. This is huge. Okay, you roll a 1d6, but you get to add 4 to it.
I get to add 4?
1d6 plus 4 is the level of this cipher that he's just like tossing out
Whoa.
there. Yeah, that's crazy. And also so perfect for the story if it's going to protect you against accidental time travel. It's a level 8. That's crazy.
Oh.
Okay. So you have this cipher, but you can go ahead and describe what you think it looks like. Why would you reach out for this? Why would this one appeal to you as he's just dropping all of these out of his bag? Wakati, and I'll let you think about it for a second. Wakati, you rolled a 25.
15. Oh, I did roll a 25.
25.
That's me.
That was the other you that rolled the 15. Okay, let's see. But we're sticking with this you, which rolled a 25, which is detonation healing. What? Okay.
Sounds
detonation.
Like
It's basically an explosion, but instead of doing damage, it heals everyone in the radius.
All right, roll a 1d6. You also get to add 4 to this, whatever you roll, and that is the level of this cipher. A physical explosive that can be thrown a short distance and bursts in a short radius, releasing warm energy. The energy restores a number of points equal to the cipher's level to the pools of everyone in the area. That is really good.
They rolled a 6. They rolled max level.
Rolled a 6.
Well, okay, you have a max level cipher then. Holy. Assuming they go up to 10 and not further than that.
I think 10 is the max, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Amara, do you think later I could look at that thing that's been the
Yeah.
the 89 thing? I don't know its name right now.
Stormbringer.
Stormbringer.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I just would like to look at it if that's okay. But later.
Yes.
And I just kind of look at Dace like, I don't know what this person's all about.
Yeah, and he's just
scary.
like, and at this time, and he's just the whole time he's been rattling off like, and this time I found this, and he's able to, for everything except for the Stormbringer, say exactly where it was that he picked it up. And on this one, I got it the Fury Isles out of a Fire Sander's mouth, and this one I found here, blah blah blah. It turns out he had swallowed it, and it almost killed him, but I was able to coax it out of him through his poop.
I think that the detonation healing is like a flask, like a beaker flask with a stopper, and inside, instead of a liquid, there's like a pink smoke that kind of swirls. It's like a pink and blue, like it's like swirling, slightly different colors, but it's like if you've ever seen those
it's like mana potion ones. Oh yeah, okay.
Like, those kind of fireworks that they're like little pellets, and if you light them in fire, then like colored smoke emits from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bottle is just full of this colored smoke.
I love it. What does Lyran's look like?
It's an amulet that has very intricate, almost like carvings through it. And if you look closely, you can see there's, I don't know how you would describe it, like a seam around it halfway in the middle. So you could reasonably expect that it will split in two once it's used. And it looks, it is deceptively heavy.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of weight to it that you wouldn't be able to see from the outside when looking at it. And it is a very deep, rich earth tone that I think naturally when Lyran puts it on, it almost looks like something that she should have been wearing all along. It suits her coloring so well.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this. And so, but I coaxed it out, and then it was great, and then I had that, and that's that, but these are all these things and these adventures, and so I just collect everything as I go along, and then I go to the Citadel and I report my findings, and I get paid to do that. That's what I do. I'm a lore hunter extraordinaire. At your service.
Nobody here has ever seen Too Far this animated, like ever. Like every single word is like the most interesting thing that she's ever heard in her life. She is like flicking from notebook to notebook, like trying to make sure every note about every single thing and the thing that came out in its poop is in exactly the right place. And then like she gets to a point where like she sort of gives up and just like watches in awe, like nodding her head like, oh, and then they're just...
Yeah, and it's fantastic, and it's the best. So that's my hobby, basically, is lore hunting. That's all I do. I live, eat, and breathe lore hunting.
And you've never seen one of those before?
No, I have been waiting my whole life to see one of those. I've seen a lot of other things, but just not one of those.
Well, I could share my notes with you.
His eyes light up. I would, and so like that one eye underneath his like monocle is now extra bulging. I would love that.
Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is wait. Maybe hold on.
I'm holding.
maybe you should tell me what you know first, because I don't want to. It's probably a good idea
Taint
that
the
I
evidence.
don't assume.
That's a really good idea. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I have, and so he pulls out his notebook on these creatures, and it is pretty extensive in terms of like they usually only come up, but it does mention one attack that you didn't experience, but it makes sense to you that it would happen. And this creature did have the ability to release a bunch of slime within like a 5-foot radius around it and hurt all of you at once, but it didn't do that thanks to Lyran's trying calming effect. I did have it go, okay, it's not going to do a mass attack. But it did have the capability to do that. So you're looking at these notes and going, oh my gosh, I would actually, this does all make sense. And so maybe you two are talking back and forth as you're like, I saw this and I slipped on the slime and it felt like this. And he's able to excitedly jot down the texture and like what it felt like. Did it burn you? Did it do anything? Like blah, blah, blah. And so he's just like so excited
It
to be
didn't burn
learning.
me, but I was really worried that it would, because I know that there can be like a flammable thing. And I was also really worried because
it could be. It is acidic too. And if you're really careful, you can actually extract some of this slime and use it as a poison resistance, I think. Let me just double check that.
So yes, but it's incredibly hard to do, and I was really
is
thinking
hard
about
to
doing
do.
it. But
Do you want to try to do it together?
Yes.
And so he's like, I've got a kit. And so he pulls out the kit and then he's going to go and try to extract this. I would love for you to roll for this. It is difficulty level 8, but obviously with his kit and his help, you'll have 2 assets. But yes, if you manage to...
Is it
intelligence? That's right.
Intelligence.
So I have sat watching this going, oh, I think I regret giving her advice.
What was the difficulty, Peep? Sorry.
It's difficulty 8 if I remember on the monster sheet, which it definitely is.
But I have an asset, did you say?
You have 2 technically, because you have his kit and you have him there with you. Okay, I'm just scrolling back to the monster section. Oh God, what happened? What was it? A failure. Okay, that's okay. So I think as you guys are pulling this out, let me just look at this real quick for the creature, because it was a difficulty of 8, but it might be that you don't get to take it with you. I think that's for transporting it. Yes. Okay. Slime is a useful component in medicines, poisons, and experiments, and can be sold to the Citadel for 10 shells per creature. That is crazy. However, obtaining and transporting the substance is dangerous and a complicated task, which is level 8. Okay, so I'm going to say that you guys collect this, and he's going to put some away, and he's going to give some to you, but it's not a lot, so you wouldn't be able to sell it for 10, which is how I'm going to translate that failure, because I think you've got 2 crazy cool scientists here that would be able to do this, no problem. So I'll say that if you choose to sell this at the Citadel, it'll be half. It'd be 50. Or 5 each, and he's going to take some of it. And then if you want to keep it going with you, you will have to roll this every time to keep it going, or to use it again, rather. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic.
And I can really take this?
Oh, absolutely. This is it. I mean, I'll take this back to the Citadel, and maybe I'll keep it for myself for my own experience, man. This is just stuff you can't learn at home. You got to go out and do it. Thank you so much.
I'm going to look at Amara. Are you within earshot, Amara?
Yeah, definitely within
earshot. Exactly what you were saying. Things that you got learned at the Citadel.
Yes. Amara just so tired.
So do you know about the jaw? Do you know about the jaw?
What about the jaw? What do you mean?
Oh, it's this whole thing. So basically it's the weed, and when they're really hungry, they open their jaw so they can get more fish. And basically, when they are, when you want to, not that you would want to, because I know that you wouldn't want to. I know that you wouldn't want to hurt them. But if you ever were in the instance where you would maybe have to take them on in battle, you should always go for the jaw, because it's the weak spot.
Is that because they dislocate it to eat larger fish?
Yes!
No, that makes total sense. Yes! Oh my gosh! And then he starts jotting the notes down. And then it's almost like his little bird parrot friend will squawk like very loudly, and he goes, "Oh, where are my manners? You probably don't want to camp here so close to the water unless you're trying to lure another one out, maybe. In which case, maybe I will stand and sit with you, and maybe over there though, not intruding on the evidence as to what's going to happen with the experiment if that was the experiment that you were running. But in case you weren't, my friend and I are actually camped up on the cliffside. It's much safer."
I just immediately defer to Amara. I don't know how to answer this question. Mr. Amara?
Seeing how excited Tufa is, this kind of sigh. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, we'll take you up on that.
Oh, we can!
Yes.
We're going to camp with them?
Yes. You go up. I'll pull down the tent.
Okay. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm not helping with that tent. I'm ready.
And then he's like, yeah, and packs up his stuff and then gets ready to leave. By the way, he leaves all the ciphers that he pulled out of his bag. So that's how you guys collect them. Nobody's stealing anything. He just really doesn't care, and he wanders off and up in towards this campsite. But that is where we will end today's session. Unless anyone would like to have a final moment with each other, which I will allow. Mm-hmm.
I don't have a final moment, but I do have a final question.
Yes.
How do we handle the splitting of the apple as far as its restorative properties for us?
I think we were going to do 4. So we'll split it 4 ways, whatever that total number was.
2.
So everyone gets 2.
Apiece.
Yep. Wonderful.
Okay.
And I have one other little bit of detail for you. Your mist burrow companion is now your Pokemon companion. You're able to have this companion if there is another companion that you end up collecting along the way. You are able to only have one out in battle at a time. So this mist burrow needs a name. So whenever you decide to name it, it cannot unfortunately communicate with like words, but you understand what it's saying or feeling, and it understands you.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
I think that Wakati is going to stay down at the bottom part, and he'll just like, may I look at the Stormbringer if that's okay?
Yeah. I'll unhook it from my belt and hand it over. Handle first. Just gotta be careful.
Thank you. And I think Wakati is just going to kind of sit at this old campsite while everybody's like, sort of heading up. Kind of just sit there for a bit and see where Liren is, because he's always looking to see where Liren is. As that crew goes up there to the campsite up top. Who's down here?
I think it's just you, and Amara is over here putting down the tent. And Liren, if she's still here. Yeah, okay. Then Liren and her little mist burrow friend who is still chewing on flowers.
And you can tell that Wakati wants to say something to Liren, but then doesn't.
Will you roll for me when you look at this device?
I actually have a roll that I would like to make.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go for it. What were you gonna do?
Just unwise things that people probably should not do because it.
If this is going to be exactly what I was going to ask you to roll for, I will not be surprised in the slightest.
And I bring out my chronic sundial,
Mm-hmm.
and I look back up to see Tufa going up there with the other people who went to the Citadel Dace, and they all went to the place I want to go. They seem to know so much stuff. It's okay though. I'll be able to go there one day. I have a notebook. Concentrate. I hold up the Stormbringer, and I'm about to concentrate. I stop and I look back up there as they're like talking science. And I look at my tools and things, and I hold it in my hand, and focus my intent. There are always echoes. Time and space are the same.
Just different
and if you
directions.
can move through space, move through time, it's just different directions. I would like to see the history of this object. I would
That-
like to look into its past.
That is exactly what I was going to ask you to do. I'm not surprised
You and
at all.
me.
Yep. All right. Do you need to roll for this, or is this something that
I
simply
do.
happens? Okay.
I will roll, and however I go, you will tell me things, I guess. But this is to see where this object has been in the past as it moves through time. And I'm going to roll. And I'm going to roll. I'm an expert in this sort of a thing. So it's eased at least once, and I have 2 assets. This is something I've done a lot, I remember. But the thing is, this seems to be important to Tufa. It's been following her. So I'm going to use as much effort as I can.
Okay.
And maybe I'll know something. And, well, it's not that important. I have to just concentrate first on it. And this will be eased by 1, so it'll go up. It'll be 1 higher. So I make a difficulty 3, it looks like. Is that right? I rolled a 6, which beats the difficulty 2, but then well, let's add, right? So 2, 4, 6, 7. And according to the book, a 7 will give you the most obscure information that, well, it says obscure knowledge of the past is level 7. So
Okay. So this is what
I
you
would
have
like to
earned?
see it's yes, please. But
Okay.
I just want to, maybe if I can find out something interesting, Tufa will think that I'm also smart, maybe. That I might know things. Even though I didn't study, but in the Citadel. I studied my own.
Let's remind me and everyone what technically this cipher does. It is called the Stormbringer, and I believe it does electric damage, correct? Is it a shield or is it damage only?
Well, it says right here. That's Hidden Tentacle. That's the wrong one.
I can
Stormbringer.
check.
Over the course of 1 round, the cipher creates a high-speed vortex of air centered on itself. On the turn after the cipher was activated, the vortex inflicts damage equal to the cipher level.
Yeah,
And it
okay.
ignores armor on everything in immediate range, and then it dissipates.
Okay. And it's from that
Where's it
point, right? That means that wherever you place this down, it's almost like it's a bomb. That whatever's on it is getting sucked up into that, right?
And it does damage, yes.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
this thing has been through time. I can tell it has. And
Yeah,
there's
of
my
course.
chronic energy on it, and maybe I can see something that I could share.
I think you absolutely do. I think you hear some things. I think you feel a whipping wind. I think you... How much do you remember from your time in the fold?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, well, I remember we weren't there very long. We took the time shark in. Lirin and Kelp, Jacko, Valia. Anyway, we all went in, all of us, and They were scary things.
Very scary. And I think as you are touching this device and trying to see where it's been, you hear some things.
Get behind me. Run. I'll catch up. I'm sorry.
Mr. Amara, I think, I hand it back to him.
Thank you. Figure anything out?
Are you okay?
Yes. Why?
How's your hip? Does it still hurt?
Just an ache, but I'm over 100. It'd be strange if we didn't.
How old are you?
117.
I thought you were 57. Sorry.
Flattery won't get you anywhere.
No, I guess I was just confused. Sorry. How long have you had it? The Stormbringer?
A long while. Maybe 50 years now.
I'm sorry, then I guess it was 67. Something like that. Anyway, why do you think it is following too far?
I'll be quite honest, I don't know. Didn't realize or think when I used it was this closely connected to anything macronic. That's the only explanation I can think of. Macronic loop.
Well, the past is just the future. So we should tell Tufa. No, I'll tell her. I'll give her a warning. I don't know if she'll listen. But do you want me to carry the tent sticks?
No. Just go up, meet our new friends. I'll be up there in a minute.
Okay.
By the way, Deep Fisher.
Yes, sir.
Have a butter shield. I'll just toss a hard candy your way.
Thank you. I saved the one you gave me, then I ate it because I was a little nervous. So I have to tell Tufa that if you tell us to get behind you, that we have to do it right away and not to be distracted by anything. And that's really important for me to say. Lyran, can I give you a hug, please?
Always.
Thank you. And I just go up and I just give Lyran this hug, and I'm just like super tiny, little round, tiny fish boy. Thank you. By the way, I appreciate all the flowers you've given me so I can put them in my booklet. I'll draw them. Turns to go, leaving them by the campsite.
Lyran just looks at Amara and doesn't say anything.
Amara just looks to Lyran and starts heading up the hill.